Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
That's right. Again, we've got Dan Cole walking us through what to look out for in the markets.
That's right, Ryan. You're looking pretty good yourself today. What's the occasion, Ryan?
Well, I'm just looking forward to chatting with you.
Oh, very, very flirty, Ryan. But yes, welcome to Companies to Watch. That's a segment where we spotlight and stock you up with ideas of listed companies that will call for your attention. So we're looking at market trends to risks that might be overlooked, as well as hidden gems or warning signs to steer clear of. So be part of the conversation, 8855-0893, and tell us whether you think it's going to be hot or not. Ryan, you ready?
I think so.
Okay, Ryan, this is a company that Apple's Tim Cook called inspiring. Bank of America's Brian praised the CEO for his lessons on life and business, and JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon said that he's everything that is good about American capitalism. So, if you don't already know what company I'm referring to, that's none other than Berkshire Hathaway. And whatever it is that you may know him as, if there is one thing that we can all agree on, Warren Buffett's nothing short of spectacular. And so, the long-awaited, or some might call it dreadful day, has finally come when the legendary investor and CEO called it quits. In a surprising announcement at the company's annual shareholder meeting in Omaha, the 94-year-old Buffett, who built his Berkshire Hathaway empire into a business that's valued at more than $1.16 trillion, had revealed that he will be stepping down at year-end after 6 decades of helming the conglomerate, Ryan. So, I just thought to myself, what better time than now to marvel at his achievements and career? But before we get into it, how did you respond to his retirement?
It was, I think, due because he's getting on, 94 years old.
Yeah.
Charlie Munger just passed on as well. Maybe he's more reflective of his time left, and maybe it's also time to hand on the reins to someone while he's still around so he can guide him and so forth. But of course, the new guy coming in, Greg Abel, has been on the job for quite some time as well, so not necessary for him to be around to hold his hand. But yeah, he's been pretty much the icon when it comes to the investment world for so long. When you think about investment, you think about Warren Buffett. And he has dropped a lot of nuggets of wisdom over the years. And my favorite quote from him is how you can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant.
Whoa, okay. I see why that's your favorite, Ryan.
You get where I'm coming from? You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant because you need to let the process take its time. You can't rush things. That's where it's coming from, and the same for investing.
And it's true, because patience is virtue after all, right? But yes, Ryan, we will be discussing a little bit more about some of his nuggets of wisdom, as some might call it, and also find out who exactly Greg Abel is. But before that, let's talk a little bit more about what Buffett has achieved over his years of helm at Berkshire Hathaway, of course. Now, in the ensuing decades, he expanded on what he learned from Graham, deepening his investment skills and fine-tuning his personal code for work and life that guided his 6 decades at Berkshire. And his record stands alone, a testament to his unusual skill and approach. Now, the famed investor has delivered a more than 5,500,000% return on Berkshire's stock as he turned the once failing textile firm into one of the most valuable companies in the world that isn't exactly a tech giant or state oil producer. Now, the market value of Berkshire's share had grown by an annualized 19.9% a year over the 6 decades from 1965 to 2024. That compared with a return of 10.4% a year for the S&P 500 over time, including dividends, and then at least that's according to the company. So we've seen how the decisions made by Warren Buffett has certainly paid off over the past 60 years. And Buffett is also known for his, widely picked stocks such as Apple, American Express, Coca-Cola, Bank of America, and Chevron, accounting for some 70% of its $263 billion stock portfolio. And as he puts it, one wonderful business can offset the many mediocre decisions that are inevitable when it comes to investing. So Berkshire, it's without a doubt that he's also built up a formidable pile of cash, now standing at a record of $347.7 billion at the end of the first quarter. Can you imagine holding that much cash, Ryan?
Yeah, what is he going to do with it?
Yeah, it's a bit hard to imagine how you're going to use it, but on top of that, it also owns roughly 5% of the treasury bills in circulation that was last year paid, and what Buffett himself called the biggest corporate tax bill in the US history at nearly $27 billion. So Ryan, the next time you think that you're paying a lot for your taxes, think about Warren Buffett. So lately, Buffett has also been waiting for a big opportunity to deploy his growing cash pile, and a decision that we've also seen how he's apparently passed the baton to Greg Abel, his hand-selected successor as CEO. And the announcement actually stunned the board, and Abel, who while long signaled as Buffett's successor, was unaware that the news was coming as the annual meeting drew to a close. So then, the question is, what do we know about Buffett's successor, and what does the vice chairman for non-insurance operations offer in terms of how, he could lead Berkshire Hathaway in the years to come? Now, Greg Abel, who has been working for the legendary investor for more than 2 decades now, he has had a long track record as a business operator in his own right. And he first joined Berkshire when Buffett's firm struck a deal for controlling a stake in Mid-American Energy when Abel was just an executive back in 1999. And he later then served as the CEO of that company, which was renamed the Berkshire Hathaway Energy. Now, for years, Buffett would praise Abel as a brilliant manager and huge asset to Berkshire, after which we would see Abel joining the Berkshire's board of directors in 2018 and lead the non-insurance operations. And when asked to describe his approach in dealing with Berkshire's subsidiaries compared to Buffett's, the outgoing CEO interjected and said, better. Is that enough to give you confidence in Greg?
Yeah, I would imagine he's already been doing a lot of the major decisions while running the shop at Berkshire Hathaway. So I don't think it's going to be any big changes, probably business as usual.
Yep, certainly so. And praises has been coming in from not just Buffett himself, but also from the Charlie Munger, who described Abel as just sensational at being a business leader, both as a thinker and a doer. So this certainly seems like it's a good handover and about time that Warren Buffett start to enjoy his retirement. So I'm probably going to go with a hot in the name of his achievements. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I would probably go with that direction as well, and also with how Berkshire has been more open to new ways of thinking with Greg Abel around, right?
Yeah.
Going to new places like Japan, for example. And they've been saying, the stuff they've been investing in, particularly the Japanese trade houses, they don't see themselves selling it in the next 50 years.
Yeah.
So that's how much they are bullish on Japan. And I think it's interesting to see how they are opening their horizons in what they are looking to invest in right now. And of course, you mentioned a huge cash pile, which they have yet to really deploy. I'll be looking out for that as well.
Yeah, certainly. And that's exactly what we're seeing across the board when it comes to tip ranks, Yahoo and Barron's as of the 6th of May. We've got all 3 consensus rating giving it a buy. And that's all we have for today's Stock in Focus, Berkshire Hathaway. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the pearls of wisdom that's shared by Warren Buffett over the years. After all, when the world's biggest investor says something, it is advisable that investors across the board take notes. Do you know any of the iconic quotes that has spurred the investment?
I think the most iconic one is be greedy when others are fearful.
What?
So be contrarian.
Oh, yes, yeah. Sorry, my wording was a little bit different from how you were. But yes, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. That's one, Ryan. Now, another one is rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1.
Okay, it's easy enough. Just don't lose money. All right.
Okay, now, another one here. Here's one. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Similar to what you addressed earlier, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
About being patient.
I just was reflecting on what you said just now. Don't lose
Yep.
money, which means don't get too crazy with your investments. Think about it very carefully.
Yep.
And as long as you protect your baseline, don't go into any speculative positions, then you'll always be in. Always come out on top most of the time. I guess.
That's right. And of course, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. So that's all we have for today. Berkshire Hathaway.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.